The first snowfall of the season brings with it a change of seasons and a peaceful beauty. It also brings a whole new list of challenges and chores. There may be a year where we feel like we were 100% ready for that first snowfall. However, that was not this year. There always seems to be just one more thing that should be done before that first snowfall comes. This fall was especially challenging with the really wet weather. It was hard to get the leaves taken care of in a timely manner, and even when we had a day where we felt like the leaves had finally dried out enough, it was just really windy and it was hard to get them under control even with the blower. We did have a really nice stretch of weather where we were able to get a good amount of things off of our checklist, such as cleaning out the greenhouse, getting the garden ready for winter, and cleaning out our shed. Since our house is small, we keep our off-season clothes in plastic bins in the shed and switch them out when the seasons change. We also tend to accumulate our recycling in the shed and also things that were overdue to be donated. So I was able to spend an entire day cleaning out the shed, getting everything brought to the recycling station, and getting my greenhouse ready for spring. Another important item on that list is to get all of my maple syrup supplies ready for spring. It just makes it so much easier to have everything ready to go before it gets too cold and you're trying to find something in a cold, dark shed. We were also able to put the finishing touches on a multi-purpose building that we were putting together for additional firewood and for a game pole. Deanna's going to go through the building process of that a little bit later on in this video. All in all, we didn't do too bad on getting ourselves prepared for winter. We do feel like we're a little bit behind on getting our firewood set. We would ideally like to have a 2-year supply ready to go. However, with the amount of ground bees that we've encountered this year and Dan's allergies, we've had to push that off until the colder weather. So with the expected warm up over the next few days, we'll definitely take advantage of that and get the last few things we need to get done before the snow is here for good. So it is time to tackle this disaster of a greenhouse. Get it ready for spring. This place is a mess. After the greenhouse was cleaned, it was time to take the shade cloth off of the roof for the winter time. It didn't take long after building this greenhouse to realize that we did need the shade cloth on the south side of the roof in order to not burn our plants in the spring. It does get pretty warm in there when the sun is out. So we just attached 2 poles, one to each side, and it just stays just above the ridge of the roof by gravity, and you just need to pull it off in the fall. Usually it takes 2 of us to do it, but I thought I'd try it by myself without dropping it on my head. And it just needs to be folded up and put inside so that it doesn't stay out in the weather.
Hey everybody, welcome back. Winter is fast approaching here in northern Michigan, and this is a project that I've been wanting to do for quite some time now. I've built and redesigned it in my head several times, and once you decide on something and actually get the materials on site, it feels good to get started on it. What I wanted to do here was we needed another shelter. We needed some place that we could keep more firewood, and I also wanted a structure that had a high enough header in it that we could hang our game from it. We do quite a bit of hunting. We like to use the land, harvest the animals, and process it all on our own. And even though we live in the woods, there was not a tree relatively close to the house that had a decent branch to hang game from and do processing. So that's one of the reasons I built the front of this high enough. The front end of the shelter is 10 foot off the ground, and I was able to put a cheap electric winch, 12-volt winch on the header of that, so we can hang our game from that, and we can move it up and down easily as we want to process it. And something I usually keep in mind when I want to do a project like this is multi-use. So We're going to store firewood underneath here. It's going to be a shelter where we can process game, and it's also going to be a place where we can store our wood splitter when it's not in use out in the woods. So let's get started. So like I said, we got all the material on site, and that was a good accomplishment right there. But as I started to gather up tools, I realized, where's my string? I couldn't find my string. I think I left it up in the Upper Peninsula. So came up with a little different idea here. We had some spare 2x4, so what I did was just laid those out, squared them out, got a structure nice and square. It's only 8x8 where the posts are going. So once I had that squared out, I could put down 2 screws for each intersection there. And then I was able to see where I needed to start my holes, and then I was able to just move it over and dig my hole down. And it worked out pretty good for a structure this size. I certainly wouldn't use it for anything bigger than this, but for the idea of it, it worked out. We were able to get the 4 corner holes dug to the proper depth, and then once those were on it, we could square it over top and see that it covered enough of the hole. Then once we dropped the post down the hole, we were able to use that framing. I put once the post was nice and plumb, we were able to put a screw down at the bottom into that framing and then a screw into the post. So it was able to hold up all 4 corner posts nice and plumb to get this thing started. Once we had those set, we put down some concrete mix there. I like this type of concrete mix. It's designed actually to pour dry into the hole. You know, there's some controversy over that, but this formula is designed for that, to pour dry, and then you add water to it and it'll harden up nice and solid in there, so give some strength to that structure. The actual structure itself is, the posts are 8 foot apart, so it's a 8x8 shelter, but then the roof, once I have that on, is 12x12, so we got a 2 foot overhang over each side to give some weather protection there. The thought of this is we're going to fill up in between 2 sides and the back of firewood. We get that 6 or 7 foot high. That's about 1 year's supply of firewood for us. Then in the middle, we'll store our log splitter in the middle there, and on the front header there, we have the electric hoist. So just a little 12-volt battery, and we're able to raise and lower the game as we're processing. It worked out pretty good. Real happy with the way this project turned out.